Gachiakuta, episode 13, An Empty Gaze. We get Amo's backstory, and honestly, I was not ready for it. But let's talk about it. Welcome back, you variant. So today we're talking about episode 13 of Gachiakuta, An Empty Gaze. And this was an extremely powerful episode. The way it was executed and emotionally captured was, I think, very well done. This It was something I was not ready for. I have not read the manga, so I did not know any of the backstory going into this. And kind of seeing it flushed out, you already knew something was up with Amo. Again, just by her demeanor, her mannerisms, and that she was kind of dealing with a lot. And now we understand what she was dealing with and to what degree. And the way it was done in a way to where things were explained and you could understand by watching, the way that the visuals were done in terms of as also with what's being said, that get the point across about what was happening. This was a this episode hurt. All right, we have Amo and her mama, and they're going to meet a giver, and what ends up happening is, you know, Amo's mother explains that this is the person who's going to, love you, take care of you, and you're going to be with this person from now on, and leaves and kind of leaves her to it. And Amo doesn't, any better. She already has extreme emotions because even when she was trying to, there's a bird there. She was trying to get the bird to like her. And then the mother was like, the bird's never going to like you. And then she immediately was like, all right, you stupid bird. I don't get your dirty feathers on me. Like, she is already, having, to go to the extremes and stuff, with her emotions. So this was just, more fuel to the fire, so to speak. That is Amo. All right, so her having to go with this person, live with this person. They go to the tower, and that's where they live. They're in the tower. They are, you know, living there for a number of years because we see Amo grow up. All right, so Amo is, again, we don't know Amo's, you know, particular stage at this point. We just know that Amo is, grown up to a degree, and we see that this man has been taking advantage. Um, and he is wearing the boots that Amo wears. All right, so this is where we see where the boots came from, and we already know the power and the nature of the boots, and we see that this giver has been using the boots more or less to on Amo. It's possible that they were used in the, I guess, for lack of a better term, acquisition of, Amo. I hate to say it that way, but you know, able to, talk to the mother and get the mother to do whatever it is that needed to happen for him to get Amo to go with him. And this sucks because we see, and they do a wonderful job of showing but not showing, I guess, with the way they did the art, the sketch arcs with that. And it's done as if it was done in, like, kind of sketch and crayons and whatever the case can be, because of Amo's personality. And we see how she is from being a child to growing up to whatever age she is. We see how her mind works throughout the course of this process. And again, this sucks and stuff like that. Freaking, you don't condone any of this. I hate that Amo had to go through this. Like, it completely sucked. But the fact is that it wasn't skirted over. Like, it was, you know, an integral part of her backstory, and is explained so that we understand what's going on. We understand what's happening, and we understand that these are realities within our world. These are things that happen. All right. So the fact is that freaking, anime isn't just about, oh, this is all, action and fight scenes, so like that. No, there are real things that happen, and there are real, traumas that people have to deal with. There are bad things that happen. uh, and they happen to the good people. They happen to undeserving, unsuspecting people. So that things happen to people that you just are not fully aware of. You may you may be in a bubble. You may not. I don't know. Um, but the way that this was done and produced, again, Studio Bones, Urana's manga, and hopefully I'm saying the name right. This was an absolutely, you know, emotional roller coaster of an episode. And, you know, going through the process of Amo trying to come to terms with everything. And this is what we see. They're in the tower, things have happened and stuff like that. Not so good things have happened. And there are people who show up to this tower and they're here to, I guess they're looking for something. And they end up, punching the dude out, freaking, which is great. They punch him out and they have a conversation about this is what he's happened. And they hand Amo the boots. They're not talking directly with Amo like that. They just, you know, hand her the boots. I think say a line or two, and they're talking amongst themselves about what needs to happen next. And we see the guy, take the other person, kind of wrap them up, sort of that, and you see wings sprout, and they fly away. And this is what Amo sees. Amo sees an angel. An angel came in and rescued Amo, gave Amo a gift, and then flew off. So Amo, is protective of this gift. So when, the guy comes to and sees his boots have been taken, now he doesn't have the same hold that he had over Amo. And now he's trying to fight for these boots back. And Amo was like, no, like these boots are given to me. You have all these other things that you have stolen. So that freaking, this is one thing I'm asking for. Why are you trying to, and it was given to me. Why are you trying to take it from me? So it's a struggle back and forth, and eventually the guy is pushed out of the window and he's done for, which gives Amo a sense of wonder in terms of what happened. Why did Amo end up in this place? Why is Amo here? What is going on? And she questions everything, and that's when she starts to eventually discover her power. So she puts on the boots, and we see that she wears boots and she goes out, explores a bit, stuff like that. And all she wants is to be loved. That's one thing that she's always wanted is, to have some, people that care for her. And as she learns about her power with the boots and what's going on, you know, the crew is kind of getting all this information. This is a story that she's telling, and she's just willingly telling her story and what's going on. Because again, last episode, Rudo went in, so like that, and you gotta remember he was mad, he was upset, he attacked her because she had attacked them, but she was dealing with the power of her boots and trying to assert herself as far as having people that love and care about her, but they just wanted something from her. And now we see how that you know trauma that she had, how it related to that episode, and then how we come into this episode and know what's going on. um and Amo understands more and more about what the man was doing, what was happening, and she now has to, I guess, come to terms with everything and um kind of figure out how to heal from that. And Rudo comes to apologize, and she says that, I see you come to apologize, but you don't have to. It's not a thing. And she's like, people only use their hands when it's time to hit others. And then Rudo gets the point and stuff, and he holds out his hand and he offers her a welcoming hand, like, and you can see that he's apologizing and offering his hand, that I don't know how to do this, I'm not used to doing this either, but maybe we can learn together to be you know more understanding of each other, and um, use our hands in the proper way of holding hands to strengthen. And this is they're sending the message about strengthening you know a bond in the right way, not the wrong way. And it's a good powerful moment. It's something that really hits as far as it's a road to getting better. And again, I haven't been through any of this. I'm sorry for the people who've had to endure this and the people who have had to deal with this are going to understand this, probably a whole lot better and have their opinion. So again, be respectful in any comments and stuff that you leave down below. Understand that, different people have had different experiences, and this is one experience that, Amo is dealing with that's depicted about, how she can heal and get better. And she decides to stay behind to figure out, what she needs to take care of, and, what she's going to do from this point on. But you see, she has a communication, it's not on her neck, it's on her wrist, so it's a bracelet thing she has on her wrist that she's able to communicate with them. And the team and stuff, I guess I'm talking, while they take off, head back, and they didn't get the information they were exactly looking for, but they did get some information. They do have an understanding. Ruda, of course, is upset because these seem to be the same people that showed up with, Regto, and, got him set up. So he's pissed. He wants to know what's going on, but again, he's not taking out on Amo. He's trying to, welcome her to the group. So now she has people that actually care and are looking out for her. So she stays behind, but as she stays behind and she closes the door, there's someone there. And she turns around and she's like, who are you? Like, what's going on? And we hear a struggle behind the door. And then a little bit later on, we see Jabber walking away, who looks like, he's happy because it looks like he's acquired something, possibly the boots. I don't know. He's acquired something and is now moving on away from the tower. Freaking, so that's where it ends. And again, this was a really, it's a really good and a really bad episode at the same time. So if you understand what I'm saying, like, it was good the way it was depicted, the way it's saying, the way that it shared everything. It was bad as in what happened and what's going on. And we don't condone these type of things. Like, it was just, it was wild to see, and I did not see it. I did not expect it exactly, you know, for the episode to be what it was. So that's all I got for this one. Again, very powerful episode. Freaking feel free to leave your comments below. Again, be respectful. If you're in any situations so like that, you need help, please reach out for help. And there are people that care, there are people that want to help and be on your side, and hopefully everybody in the world has something. But so I got this one. Make sure you hit that little red subscribe button. Again, appreciate each and every one of y'all always, and I will catch you guys in the next one later.